Hello and welcome to this episode of Creating with Howcraft. My name is Denise Backmore of howcraftcollection.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create my Blazing Bloom Macrame bracelet. This bracelet is created with the new stone multi-pack beads just added to the website. You get 4 lengths, 8-inch lengths of 4, 6, 8, and 10 millimeter beads, all at one low price. 25 new multi-packs were just added to the website, so be sure to check those out. Also featured is this gorgeous orange flower lampwork pendant. This pendant also comes in a multi-pack. It comes in a pack of 2. The tools and supplies needed for this project are 2 pairs of chain nose pliers to open your jump rings, wire cutters to cut the end of your cord, round nose pliers to fray the end of the cord. You will also need some type of macrame board. This is a foam board, macrame foam board. This is a clipboard. The clipboard can be used. You just add a document clip at the bottom. You attach your cords at the top and attach the cord at the bottom. I'm going to be using the foam macrame board today. A complete list of the jewelry making supplies and beads needed, along with printable PDF instructions, can be found on howcraftcollection.com. Search Blazing Bloom bracelet. You will also need wax linen cording. This cording is 3-ply, which means it has 3 strands in it. And you will need 3 30-inch lengths of cording. I always cut my cording a little longer just in case I want to add something. And it's also easier to create the dangles at the end. But that's a design choice. 30 inches will work. So we cut our 3 inches of 30-inch length cording. We're going to move down about 6 inches. And you're going to attach it to your bead board, just like that. And we're going to separate the strands. And we're going to, I'll move this up so you can see. I'm just sliding this right in under the center cord. So we have the right and left cords. And then we're attaching the center cord at the bottom. Now I'm going to show you how to form a half square knot and a square knot. So we're going to pass the cording under and bring it up, crossing over the other side of the cord. Bring this cord through one side, and then we're just going to pull it up. This is a half square knot. Now we're going to pass the cording going from the opposite side underneath, going up, crossing the other side of the cording, passing the cord back through, and we're going to pull that knot up. And now we have just created a square knot. Now that our strands are secure, we're going to get ready to string our beads and our jump ring. So we're going to pick up a 6 or 8 millimeter jump ring. And we are going to open the jump ring. This is how you open and close the jump ring. You never pull it apart. So we're going to open that jump ring. We're going to grab our lobster clasp. And we're just going to close that jump ring. To save time, I went ahead and removed my center strand from the bottom of the clipboard. And I strung my beads. I strung the lobster clasp. And then 4 or 1 red jasper, and then the lampwork pendant, 3 10-millimeter red jaspers, and then 3 orange dyed banded agates, 10 millimeters. And when you get to the bottom, you want to have this gradiate from darker orange to yellow. So we want 3 darker oranges and then 3 yellows and the ending jump ring. Okay, I attached my center cord back at the bottom of either your clipboard or your foam board, and now we're going to get ready to create the macrame bracelet. So we're going to move our jump ring up. We're just going to place it like that, and we're going to pick up this side, and we're going to go under, crossing at the top, bringing the other side of the strand through, and now we're going to form a half square knot. Now we're going to go to the other side. We're going to go under, crossing at the top, bringing the other strand through, and we're going to pull that up. Now we've just created a square knot. Now we have to create another half square knot. So we're going to go under, crossing at the top, bring it back through, and then pull the knot up. We're going to slide our red jasper 10 millimeter up all the way to the top. We ended on this side. This side is sticking up a little bit, so this is the side we want to start with. So we're going to pull that up. And we are going to pass the cording, crossing on the top, grab the other side, pass it through the side of the loop, and pull it up and pull tight. So we've just created a half square knot. Now we need to create a square knot. We're going to start on this side because this side is the side that's sticking up. That's how you can tell which side you ended on. So we're going to go underneath, cross it at the top, bring the other cord through the other side, grab it, pull it tight. Now this cord's sticking up, so we're starting on this side again. We're going to pass it underneath, crossing this cord at the top, taking the other side, going back through. Let's get the pendant out of the way. And we're going to pull it up. And there is your square knot. Okay, now we're going to grab the strands and we're going to bring them together. And we're just going to pass them through the pendant. Grab that end. Move that out of the way. And then we're going to slide the pendant up. Then we're going to separate our strands so that they're on the right side. And then we ended with this side up. That's the side we're going to start with. So we're going to go ahead and slide our red jasper 10 millimeter up. We're going to pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top, grabbing the other side, passing that cording through, pulling it tight, completing a half square knot. Now we're going to complete another square knot. This side's sticking up. We're going to grab that cording, cross it at the top, bring the other side through, pull it tight, pass the cording, cross it at the top, bring the other side through, pull it tight, move up a bead, We're going to make our square or our half square knot to secure the bead. So we just secured that bead. If it comes up a little bit, you can move it down. You can tell which side we ended on because this cord is sticking up. Now we have a square knot in between each bead. So now we're going to perform our square knot. Pass the cording, cross at the top, grab the other side, pass it back through, and pull it tight. Now we have to go the opposite side. Pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top. Bring the cording to the other side, pass it through, and pull tight. Let's move our red jasper 10mm round up, sticking up on this side. Pass the cording underneath, make sure it crosses here. Pass the cording through the loop on the other side. Pull it tight. We've just created our half square knot. Pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top. Pass the cording back through. We are creating a square knot now, going underneath, crossing at the top, passing it back through, pulling it tight, moving up a bead, passing the cording underneath, crossing at the top, pull the cording through the other side of the loop, move the knot up. We've just created a half square knot to secure that bead. Pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top, bring the other side through, pull tight, pass the cording underneath, bring the other side through, pull tight, square knot, move the bead up, pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top, bring the other side through the loop, pull tight, square knot. Pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top, bring the other side through, pull the knot up, coming from the other side, pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top, pull the other side through, pull tight, square knot. Let's move the bead board or the macrame board up a little bit. We're going to bring up our orange dyed banded agate 10mm. Let's check. We ended on this side. We are going to pass the cord through, crossing at the top, bringing the cord through the other side, pulling it tight. You can move it down. We've just created the half square knot to secure the bead. Passing the cord underneath, crossing at the top, pulling the cord through, and then going from the other side, passing underneath, crossing at the top, pulling the cord through, pulling it tight. Let's move that down just a tad. Move up your next bead, which is an orange dyed crackle agate. And these are really cool. They are matte. Okay, we just formed our half square knot to secure the bead. We're going to pass the cord underneath, crossing at the top. Bring that cord back through. Pull tight. Cross underneath. Crossing at the top. Pull the cord through. Pull tight. Move up another crackle agate. pass the cord underneath, crossing at the top, pass the other side through the loop, pull tight, half square knot, securing our bead. We can tell where we ended because this side is sticking up. Pass the cord, crossing at the top, bring the other side through, pull tight, pass the cord underneath, crossing at the top, pull the other side through, square knot. Now we're moving up our orange dyed crackle agate 10 millimeter. We're passing the cording underneath, crossing at the top, bringing the cord back through, and then we're pulling it tight. And then we're going back underneath, crossing at the top, pulling the other side through the loop, pulling it tight, underneath, crossing, pulling the other side through, pull tight, move our next bead up. We're going under, crossing at the top, bringing the other side through the loop, pulling it tight. Let's move this up a little bit. Going under, crossing at the top, passing the cord back through the loop, pulling it tight, under, crossing at the top, bringing the other cord through, pulling it tight. We moved our next orange dyed crackle agate, but these look yellow. So I wanted my yellow looking agates at the end. So we're gonna form that square knot to secure the bead. We're gonna go under, crossing at the top, bringing the other side through, pulling that knot tight. We're going under, crossing at the top, bringing the other side through, pulling it tight, moving up our next crackle agate, 10 millimeter. We're gonna go under, crossing at the top, bringing it through the loop, pulling it tight. We're gonna go under, crossing at the top, bringing the other side back through the loop, pulling it tight. And we're gonna go under, crossing at the top, bringing the other side back through, and pulling that knot tight. Now we're gonna bring up our jump ring. Make sure you have really thick jump rings, like 18 gauge jump rings, because if you have a thin jump ring and you catch it on something, it's going to pull that jump ring out and it's going to be hard to put another one back in. So we moved our jump ring up. Let's get that little jump ring up, and we're going to pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top, bring the cord through the loop on the other side, and then I want it facing the same way, so I'm going to pull it. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Okay, then we're going to pull it tight. So we've just secured that in, so now we're going to finish it off with a square knot. Pass the cording underneath, cross at the top, bring the other side through the loop, pull it tight, pass the cording underneath, crossing at the top, bring the other side through, and pull it tight. let's take it off the bead board and give it a look. Okay. Move the cords out of the way. So our bracelet is basically finished. At this point, you could trim off the ends and dab it with super glue. Or you could do what I did in the project, which is add these little dangles. So we are going to do that right now. Okay, we're going to start on this side. I'm going to pick up one side, one length of the cording. And we are going to form an overhand knot. We're just going to move that knot down right about there. And since these are red jaspers, I'm going to string the red jasper 6mm rounds. These also come in the multi-pack. So we're going to move that down. And we're going to form a simple knot. I like to hold my knot right at the end right there, if I can, and just move that knot down. And then we're going to grab our wire cutters and we're going to trim that end. And then we're going to come in with our chain nose pliers and we're just going to fray the end. Picking up the second cord, we're going to form our overhand knot. I'm eyeballing this. You can make the knots different lengths, so the dangles are different lengths. And we're pulling that knot down. Then we're grabbing our red jasper 6mm round. And we're going to string that bead down. And then we're going to form our overhand knot. And we're just moving that knot down, making sure it's nice and tight. We're going to come back in, trim that little end, and then we are going to fray. Come in. There we go. And then we're just going to fray that end. And let's do it one more time on this side. Forming our overhand knot. We're moving the knot down. And then we're picking up our red jasper 6mm round. We're stringing that down. Forming an overhand knot, and then just moving that knot down, trimming the end, coming back in with our round nose pliers, and we're just fraying that end. Okay, so this side of the bracelet is complete. Now we have to add the dangles to the other side. Okay, picking up the other side, we're going to form our overhand knot, and we're just going to move that knot down and tighten it up. Now we're going to pick up our 6mm orange dyed crackle agate beads, and we move that down. And now I'm going to form my overhand knot to secure the bead. Let me just move that down. And we're going to trim that end. come in with our round nose pliers and fray that end. Picking up the second strand, we're forming an overhand knot. Moved it down, picking up a 6mm orange crackle agate. We're forming our overhand knot. We're just moving that knot down. Cut the end of the cord. And coming back in, we're going to fray that end. Last one, forming an overhand knot. We're moving that knot down. Grabbing our 6mm orange crackle agate, we move that down. We're forming our overhand knot. We're just moving that knot down. Come back in. Trim the end. Come in with our round nose pliers. And fray the end. So there is our Blazing Bloom bracelet. Totally complete. Make sure you measure and figure out what size wrist, because you may need to add or subtract a couple of beads before creating the bracelet. This bracelet measures 7.5 inches long. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please like and subscribe at Howcraft USA. Follow us on Instagram at Howcraft Collection Beads, and be sure to visit howcraftcollection.com for more inspirational DIY projects and all your jewelry making needs. New beads are added weekly, and we have weekly sales. Also on the DIY design library is the Blazing Bloom necklace. We won't be doing a video on this, but you can go and look up the PDF instructions. And also we have our Blazing Bloom earrings on the website. Be sure to visit howcraftcollection.com for all your jewelry making needs, and I will see you next time.